After my hearty breakfast, I decided to do the no armor challenge. So I can't wear any armor, no mage clothes or nothing. The only time I can wear clothes is if it's so I can get through the story. So keep that in mind. As I escape from Alduin, he tries to breathe fire on me, but then I dodge him, but he catches me on fire some. So then I hop down the hole in the house, and I see the Imperial, and I run past Alduin in fear of my life, because I'm nothing but yet a gold carrier for him. And then I see this dude laying on the ground in a funny position, so I decide to look at him. Pretty funny looking. So then I started running, and then he burnt the Imperial. And then as he killed him, I stared at him because in such a revealing position. And as I started to run, Alduin came by and frou dogged me across the ground. Oh, there's a sneak peek of me. Don't look. Y'all can't look at me right now. So as I get up from that powerful blow, I run head to my toes, running for the door. And as I get into Helgen, and as Reloff and I get ready to ambush these two stupid Imperials, we get ready as I'm about to draw my axe out. This was too easy of a fight for such as Beefcake.
I cannot rest.
Now that those Imperials have fallen to the knees of Beefcake, I go to unlock the door.
Let's get out of here, but the dragon brings the whole tower down on our heads.
And then when I get to the spiders, I put on my swords so then I can Naruto run past those spiders, because that is one of Beefcake's most valid fears, are big ol' spiders. He's afraid that they'll bite him on his big juicy thighs, so he goes ahead and runs as fast as he can past them, dodges them, and heads down. Then Beefcake waits, puts away his weapons because he has seen one of his old friends, Winnie the Pooh, but he decided not to wake him up since it's winter and he does not want to wake up Winnie the Pooh without his honey. So as he sneaks past them, he's very scared, startled even. And then he made his mistake waking up Winnie the Pooh, so he dips as fast as he can. He runs and runs, gets stuck because he's retarded, and then runs down the other way and slams into a wall because he might have a disease. So as he runs as fast as he could ever, Beefcake makes his final escape to Skyrim. As Beefcake tasted fresh air with Reloff for the first time in hours, he felt relaxed as they watched Alduin, that beautiful destruction of chaos, fly away beautifully but elegantly. It was so majestic. Beefcake left Reloff to fend for his own, and Beefcake was a sole survivor. He did not have friends. He did not want friends. Beefcake tried to give us all an upskirt shot, but we did not want that. He was trying to appease us. He was trying to please us with his disgusting hairy mess of a private. So as he went the right run, he did a crab dance, aka his mating dance. He was trying to find a mate, but Beefcake had no luck. This made Beefcake very angry. As he kept doing his mating dance, there was no reply. So Beefcake got mad and started shooting fires out of his hands. This made Beefcake upset. So upset that he took his anger out on some cabbages. Those poor cabbages and their Cabbage Patch children. He felt so bad he picked up the last two cabbages to eat for later. So then he got so mad that he shot fire in the air because no one wanted to mate with Beefcake. So then Beefcake went to go talk to Reloff's sister. He kept telling her about the dragon attack, but she would not believe him. So Beefcake kept telling her over and over again. She would not reply with okay. So then he had to tell her that Reloff was with me and was a friend. And she finally believed me and told me to go visit the Yarrow of Whiterun. So then before I headed there, I would talk to the Oliver and I started selling all my stuff. Oliver asked me hey Beefcake, and I went to what, and Beefcake went to what, Oliver? He said, how are you holding all this? You don't even have anything on you. And he smiled, kissed him on the forehead and said, don't worry about it. As Beefcake smiled and winked. Then he sold all the stolen/murdered stuff he got off of people. And then he went to the river to catch salmon with his teeth. Because he was hungry. He was hungry like a mole rat on a hunger strike. As Beefcake was swimming through the river, catching fish with his teeth one by one, he went overboard, flew off of a rock, and landed in another part of the river, which was pretty good. So then as he was more hungry and more hungry, crabs tried to come at Beefcake. They tried to cut his tootsies off, but Beefcake wasn't having it. This crab came at Beefcake so menacingly and in slow motion. The crab missed his strike. Beefcake took his advantage and burnt the crab to a crisp. Beefcake then took the limbs and hand as respect and trophy, because he has never fought a foe so dangerous and powerful before. So then he headed off to the honeydew meadow discovered. Then he saw a butterfly. He stared at it, thinking of squishing it with his big meaty hands, but he decided not to. So then he went to White One and then automatically traveled to the a mining camp, so he could get a head start to getting the Dragonstone before Farengar asked him about it. As he was ready to pick where he needed to go, he picked the place finally. As Beefcake got there, he saw a bandit, stood still, hoping the bandit would calm down, but he didn't, so Beefcake quickly put him to rest. The bandit swung, missed, then chopped Beefcake in the thighs, which was the last straw for Beefcake. So he burnt the bandit to a crisp, and he mutilated the bandit by taking off his clothes and leaving him face first in some wolf crap. So then Beefcake was ready to travel some more. As he pinpointed his location to Bleak Falls Barrels, he looked around, found where he needed to head to, and started his way there. Some reason crouched like the monkey he is. Then he ran, and he saw a river. He thought he was so he can wash off his tootsies from all the soot and blood and pain. And afterwards, Beefcake was starting to wonder, where's all the enemies at? Where's the challenge? Beefcake asked. So he ran up the stairs, saw two rabbits running in fear, and Beefcake thought, everyone must be afraid of the sight of me, 'cause I am Beefcake, and I am too powerful for the mortal peasant. They should make a desert god after me, said Beefcake. Beefcake was fairly confident in himself. Then he cut his foot on a rock. Then he said, nope, screw that. So then he went to just take the normal road, healing his feet with fire, because he has cut it and he did not want to get infected. So he went past the bandit tower going, no enemies. And then he came across this woman that he tried to befriend, but then she was not very kind to Beefcake. She sliced Beefcake into the shoulder. Beefcake ran after shooting fire at her, screaming in pain, holding his shoulder. And when she attacked, he caught her on fire some more. And Beefcake ran out of magicka right before he was about to kill her. Kept trying to light her on fire, but she became too weary of his moves. She kept dodging his fire over and over again. As Beefcake kept trying to light her on fire like lighting a lighter against brick, it would not work. So he said screw it and used his sword to take down the bandit swiftly and quickly. As Beefcake started making a mad dash for the Bleak Falls Barrel like a mad lad, he started jumping. So no enemies could slash at him or shoot at him. As he started running and basically flying at that point, he spammed, he jumped, he dodged a great sword, he took an arrow to the knee, but luckily, since he's so rock hard and his nipples are cold and numb, he did not feel the pain. The arrow just fell out after a while. That's how powerful Beefcake is. As Beefcake made it to where the bandits were hiding, he waited so he could heal his stuff, locked the door behind him, but made sure it was locked just in case. Got his flames out. He heard some people scheming, but then he realized they were bandits. So he snuck up on them real close. And then he waited a second with hesitation, thinking, could I take these people down by myself? He made sure that he was still on master, so he could make sure that he's still doing good. So then he caught up on the bandits, surprise attacked him, burned the chick till she was nothing but dust. And then he quickly magiced her and burnt her till she was nothing but a piece of charcoal in the wood stove fire. Then burnt the man. After all the screaming and wailing they made, Beefcake did not stop. Beefcake was smiling instead. As Beefcake took their bodies and left them, he tried to burn the spider webs because he is mortally terrified of spiders, because he doesn't want them to be biting his thighs and infected them with their AIDS or whatever disease they have. So he ran over there. He thought he heard a voice, a kind voice, a calm voice. So he ran up there, found a potion of magicka, ran up there to see if they were friendly or not. So as he headed there, he saw that it was a bandit. The bandit kamikazed himself out of stupidity. And as the bandit died, he laughed. And then Beefcake was here before he remembered. He remembered that he was here as a different person, in a different body, in a different universe. So he knew the passcode easily. Took all the stuff off the fallen enemy, ran up, took a soul gem and a health potion for himself, read a book. Only stopped at the title though, because he remembered that they can't read. But luckily for Beefcake, he doesn't have to know how to read, because this is a video game. But Beefcake does not know that. So Beefcake lit some spider webs on fire, very hesitant. Then he heard that calm, kind voice he heard earlier, ran up, lit him down because he saw a looming shadow over him, jumped over it. Then Arnold the Swift lied to him, said that he would not share the treasure, so that made Beefcake angry. So Beefcake chased him down, but then Beefcake saw gold in the jar, so he took the gold. And then he was searching, saw it was empty. Then Arnold the Swift grew a pair finally and tried to take down Beefcake. As Arnold the Swift's cold and stale body laid there, hand on nipple, Beefcake was not pleased. So he took his clothes away from him as he left him bleeding out there mercifully. Then he waited an hour to gain his HP up and stand him on magicka so he could have a chance against these Draugr menace. He snuck up on a Draugr when he was sleeping, and Beefcake lit him on fire, burning the Draugr. The Draugr was squealing, but then Beefcake realized the Draugr couldn't feel the pain. He could only feel the emotion. So he quickly drank some potions, burnt the Draugr to a crisp, not having guilt knowing that it didn't feel any of the pain. He only felt the emotion of being hurt, so he didn't feel the pain. So he ran, tried to set off the trap to make the enemies into Swiss cheese. Successfully dodged it, but apparently Draugrs are immune to that trap. At least in this universe they are. So then he got an idea to lure all the Draugrs through the swinging axes and let them take their last breaths while they got chopped up like a cow in a beef market in a slaughterhouse. As he's watched as their souls of blue left their eyes and color went dark. He took all their stuff, left the last Draugr to be spared. But then the last Draugr came back. Beefcake burned him to a crisp. And he slid underneath Beefcake's big juicy thighs, and Beefcake got the idea to humiliate him by putting his big sweaty nut in his face. The Draugr could not breathe, and Beefcake still wonders what the Draugr thinks to this day. And as Beefcake went through the tunnel, he was clearing out Draugr by Draugr, killing them, dismembering them, leaving none to survive, because he hated the way how they looked like him, but they were uglier, just slightest, by the slightest, which made Beefcake angry. So Beefcake started stomping around, looking for his way to exit, And mad and fury, he was clearly blind for his anger, but then after he calmed down, he saw where his target was. It was literally right in front of him after he killed that jogger. So then he opened his door, saw a door, but his eyesight is bad from all the fire he's been staring at while casting it. And when he got up to it, he said Beefcake was about to give up out of anger because he didn't have the key, but then he remembered, wait, I remember that. And then he looked underneath it and said, bear, bug, owl, bear, bug, owl. Beefcake repeated it in his head over and over again till it stuck like glue in the side of a 5-year-old in kindergarten. And then as he watched the door slowly close down, he whipped out his sword because Beefcake was prepared for anything at this point. And he was ready of this bullcrap. He was ready to leave this dump. So then he saw his bats tried to scare him, but Beefcake is not scared of bats. He actually bit the head off of one once when he was starving like a madman. Then he thought he found the dragon stone, as he saw, but really, it was just a shout. His first taste of. Then a jogger busted out and attacked Beefcake. Beefcake realized his fire was puny towards the jogger. So Beefcake whipped out his bow and thought about keeping his distance as he tried to take down the jogger. The jogger shouted at him with his rude, insulting words that hurt Beefcake slightly. The only reason why it didn't damage him too much is because Beefcake is already rock hard from being in this cold and seeing stuff. So then he whipped out his bow, started shooting the jogger menace, dodging his swings like a mad lad. Then, when it was on his knees, with no mercy, he burnt the jogger overlord to death. Returned the dragon stone to Farengar. Asked him where his reward was. Farengar said, "Psych, haha, get trolled, XD." And then he told him that he doesn't have one. And then I got mad. Stood next to him thinking about murdering him, but remembered he can't die till later in the game. So I went up to Jarl to ask where Beefcake's prize was, but but he rudely told me to F off very violently. So I was like a little kid in Cracker Barrel when you're waiting for your food and then they give you this color packlet along with your kid meal. I was clicking on all the stuff everywhere, having the time of my life. Beefcake felt joy for once, touching all the flags, writing them down in his little kitty book, marking them down on his crossword puzzle, and then the Jarl Bulgar confiscated his told him to stop. Beefcake didn't listen, so then Jarl Bulgar took Beefcake's coloring mat. So then Beefcake marked down the ones that he could with his new one as fast as he could, checked his map, but then remembered he had old-timers, and he didn't actually write the crap down because he's dumb. So then he finally asked where his prize was. Jarl Bulgar rudely told him again, not right now. So then he waited for the Whiterun Guard to tell the story about the dragon attack. Then the Whiterun Guard left afterwards, and then talked to the Dark Elf about recruiting men from our team to go help with the dragon attack. As I stared at the dragon, Dark Elf, then Jarl Bulgar gave me my prize finally. I thought I was about to get savory sweet. Beefcake was very disappointed with this. He tried to sell it to Farengar, but Farengar said, "Ugh, that's crap, I won't take that." So then Beefcake was very upset about that. So then he decided to head off the Whiterun. So he decided to head off to help the men with the dragon attack.
Don't worry, my lord.
Sorry, the narrator is tired. Mike is bored. But yeah, as what's it called? Beefcake decided to finally head off to the tower to go help the people from the dragon attack. he decided to fast travel there because his bones were old. He was tired of this bullcrap. He was ready to get this adventure freaking over. So he headed up, ran past everyone, didn't wait for no one, and he heard the man's voice coming from within the tower. So he ran inside, and he saw a glimpse of his hand, so he ran in there knowing he was alive. And then as he ran in there, the guard surprised him, which startled Beefcake for a second there. Then he told him about the dragon. So Beefcake waited for his team to arrive, but it was too late. The dragon has already arrived right when the team arrived, so we didn't have any prep for it. So Beefcake whipped out his bow. Then when he was heading up the stairs, a bunch of emotions for the very first time hit his head. Will I die from this? Am I too weak to make it? Said Beefcake. Am I strong enough? Then he passed through the emotions and said, screw it! And after like 20 minutes of Beefcake cutting this out, he finally got the dragon to 1 HP and finished it off with a quick and slick move. He made that dragon his. And that's after the freaking oversized Argonian died and the skin flaked off like a scab when you get tripped on a scooter. The Greybeards taught me a shout. I shouted at their ghost people. Then one of them coughed on me, which gave me a new shout. I was utterly disgusted from that. So then I used my speed to escape the old man. And then I ran back up to him because he said he had a new quest for me. And then I closed the gate because that Beefcake is a very good gentleman. Then the old people told Beefcake that they needed him to return their horn. Pfft, those horny old silly people. Am I right? So then Beefcake started to head. A hunter made fun of Beefcake, so that made Beefcake very mad. So then he killed the hunter. And then Beefcake started his way up, pissed off Winnie the Pooh. And then Winnie the Pooh bit him on that butt. Boom! And then afterwards, Beefcake found the bandits that were trying to stop him from getting the horn. And let me tell you, Beefcake did not let them go. And as Beefcake killed his last foe, he waited an hour to regenerate his found a new shout. He tasted it on his tongue. It tasted like shit. After he tasted the word, he learned his first shout to become ethereal or whatever. It's basically a ghost shout. Then he whipped out his sword, killed a skeleton, stood there for a second thinking, how is that skeleton even able to swing an axe? It's literally a skeleton. It has no muscle or muscle joints. This story makes no sense, said Beefcake, but then he blew it off anyways. Waited another hour, headed up there to take down the rest of his foes. Then he saw a skeleton in the front and said, oh heck no. So then he stared at the pile of bones, thinking, man, that used to be probably some BA dude back then, but now he's nothing but fallen pieces of bone. And as he didn't realize he was being sniped by skeleton people. His one weakness are bows, and he has fallen pathetically to skeletons. But this made Beefcake angry, so he sat back up with anger in his eyes and killed all the skeletons, grabbed the bow out of anger, didn't realize what he was doing, threw it on the ground, killed another skeleton, chopped it in half, if you can even do that. And then when he was waiting for the skeleton to come, he didn't even realize he was on fire for like 3 seconds before he looked at his HP. So he quickly backed out as fast as he could with like 2 HP left, healed himself as fast as he could, knowing that, man, I got this far, I can't die from freaking fire. So then he grabs his sword, chops the skeleton down, makes it nothing but a pile of bones. He gets ready with his new shout of, and then he gets ready. He tests out the stones to see how they work, and then he tries his fastest to get through the gates. He touches him, then he shouts. But this game, don't tell Beefcake, but this game is so unrealistic. The gate didn't even close, but still stopped Beefcake. Beefcake then blamed the skeleton for making him not be able to run. So he chopped the skeleton in half, and then he did the puzzle no problem. See, said Beefcake, it was just the skeleton distracting me. So then he ran up the stairs. And then as he was walking, he knew that he felt that he had to be near the end. And when Beefcake got there, he found a piece of used toilet paper, was very peed off about it, and threw the toilet paper into the water. It said "Open Me" written on the toilet paper. What a sick joke, said Beefcake. So he said, you know what? For the next person that comes here, I'll leave them this instead of that toilet paper. Then Beefcake headed to Riverwood to see who gave him that used piece of toilet paper.